6 years now, hasn't it? Almost 26 years ago that NGUYEN started. And I have to tell you that we had been in another network marketing business as a family, very, very successful with it, only to have the company decide overnight, literally, everyone enthused just like you people are, and overnight we got the word that they were going to file bankruptcy. And you can't even imagine, I can still feel the complete drainage of my body of that shock that these people who had made us believe in them so completely had decided to file Chapter 11 and try to get rid of their leaders and pick up our whole army and distribute the product through them. Their reason for this was nothing but greed. But from that experience, that was our learning ground of everything that we learned about network marketing, what to do and what not to do. And we learned a lot of good things in that experience. But it was an absolute shock to see these people who had put their lives on the line, their family, their friends' lives on the line, and they were so committed. They would have gone to the end of the world for them. And to have these people that they believed in so thoroughly to just, it's all over. And there was no reason. 6 months after they filed Chapter 11, Slim Fast came on the market and took the market over from what we were doing with the Cambridge diet. That was the brink that they were on if they could have had the vision and were willing to make the kind of commitment to push through the next level of difficulties. And so when we got through with that and were in such a state of shock, everybody started coming out of the woodwork. If they could only get us to build the field for them at another network marketing company, they figured they would have it made. And of course, we were in shock enough that we just weren't getting the answers that we wanted from enough to make a commitment to go with it. Well, one day Craig came to me and he said, you know, Mother, I think we should look at NGUYEN. I said, skincare? You gotta be kidding me. I can buy skincare anywhere I can buy a Coke. I mean, what's so unique about a skincare line? How in the world can I make that? How do you think we don't have a cutting edge product if it's that? Well, he said, well, you need to meet Blake and Steve and we'll go from there. And of course, at that time, he was married to Sandy, and of course, he was trying also to support her in what she was doing as long as we were looking. And so we went down and met with Blake and Steve. Actually, they were the ones in the room. And when I met them, I said, you've got to be kidding me. Blake was the age of my son, Blake. And I said to myself, I'm going to have to raise them too. And Provo, Utah, they were going to make that our headquarters when we had been used to Pebble Beach, California, you know, with the other company. Nobody's going to think that anything good but just LDS Mormons would come out of Provo, Utah. And Blake said, well, if we have to move, we find if we need a better, different, more international address, we'll do that when the time comes. And of course, what they were doing was crawling before they could walk, before they could run. And they basically started with the $5,000 that Craig and Sandy had loaned them from the other deal. And so they were scrounging, and so it was like, well, we might as well go through the drill and ask them the questions. And of course, you wanted to know what their goal was. Well, you know, and everybody, when you ask them what their goal is like that, they go all over the map, you know. And I said, well, and then finally he said, well, what's your goal? And I said, well, first of all, we have to have a company that is committed to the long term of the business. Because in this business, it is absolutely imperative that it not ever stop are the people coming in, your friends that are coming in, they get burned and they get left without the company. Without the company, it all falls apart. Without your upline and your leadership, it all falls apart. And so, like I said, well, yeah, well, we're in it for the long haul. And I thought, well, that sounds good. We'll find out, you know, because I believe those other people are really, really good. So then he said, well, what else do you want? And I said, well, we have to have products with integrity on time. Because at the other company, we were always waiting for products. We sold so much product that people were lined up trying to get the product, literally. And they couldn't hardly supply it fast enough. And they said, well, you know, we'll do that. And of course, all we had was 18 ugly products, you know, hand lotion, you know. But they had a slogan, all of the good, none of the bad, no matter the cost. Well, now that was catchy, that had meaning. And so, and of course I knew Blake and Craig and Craig were having real success out on the street talking to people about this because they'd gone out to test it. But that didn't mean too much to me because, you know, two good-looking young kids like that, anybody's going to like what they're showing, especially if it's hand lotion and a touchy thing, you know. And so I thought, well, that didn't mean too much to me that they were seeing it, but they were getting interest, and they kind of liked the energy and the synergism that they were getting. And so we had to have products with integrity delivered on time. And then we had to have checks with integrity delivered on time. Not once in the 16 years we've been in business have our checks not come on time and cleared the bank. Now most companies, when they go into network marketing, they're poor and they have no money. And so what they do is they use your first income to buy product, and then they kind of push you down the road, and pretty soon the next sales, you're lucky then if you get half of that money back to your commissions while they're trying to catch up with their money, because that's how they try to make it work. And never once have we not had products with integrity, and for the most part they've been on time. And of course it's a real hard thing to project all the time, but they learn from their mistakes that when they open new countries and they give us a brand new product at convention, everybody's going to go crazy, and so they keep improving on projecting what our needs are. And so the other thing was that we had to have accurate records. And we were just then coming into the internet and the computer and all of that. I mean, that was just starting. I mean, we were running our literature off of the copy machine to distribute it. Why anyone ever believed us was unbelievable, because we really looked pretty bumpkin country. You know, it was amazing. It really was. But we made it, when we finally said, okay, we're going to do it, we made a commitment that we would be in it for the long term. And so then Blake said, well, what else do you want? And we said, well, nobody can be sponsored at the company but myself, because that's the way it was in the other program. And I'll explain to you later on why that's no big deal for me, but it's a big deal for the success of the company and your success. And that is that if you leave the company open to keep sponsoring people to them, do you know what happens? You get a real hotshot coming into your line, and they think they're so hotshot that they're too good to sponsor with you. They got to go around you and sell themselves to the company to be sponsored directly to the company. So you see what that did? It stopped the war before it began, and it gave us a chance to get a foundation of stable leadership going. And all of this translates down to where it applies to you in the same way with your groups. In other words, everything has to be duplicable. If it's not duplicable,